Hey Leo, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so we take what works, leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. If I don't catch your wavelength or storyline on this reading, go check out the major placements. And if you haven't already, please do click that subscribe button. It helps other people find the channel, and it gives me a little thrill. All right, so we're starting off with our Oracle decks here, Moonology and Work Your Light, for an intuitive vibe of where we might be going today. This feels funny. Something feels funny here. Okay. Nope, can't take that. But we'll take that puppy. And then we'll do a little splitting of the deck here. Take the top ones of those. Put it back together. Here we go. All right. Protection, call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. So cutting something out. This always looks to me very similar to making good boundaries, putting up some good boundaries around something, your time, your energy, your relationships. Cutting something off. It could be a breakup, could be, just being done with something. Being done and getting back on track, back to who you are, back to how you want to live, back to prioritizing yourself, your health, your well-being. This is reminding me of that Rumi song, Lovers of Leaving, we are a caravan of love. Anyway, it's basically like get back on track anytime. Nobody gives a shit. No one's holding it against you if you fell off the wagon for a while or something like that. We just get back on track. The lovers of leaving, the lovers of quitting, the lovers of those of us that are inconsistent or something like that, just get back on track. It's okay. It's okay. So that's what I'm getting from that card. It's a little bit of like, get back on track, cut something out, cut something off, get back to taking care of yourself and your own well-being. Expect powerful change. So that sounds exciting. So pulling back your power is really going to, oh my gosh, look at this. These two eclipses here. Right here. So this really looks like, powerful change. Expect powerful change as you reprioritize your time, yourself, your health, your well-being. Your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus. So, it's not going to be enough just to want this to happen. You've got to come up with a plan, come up with a way that you're going to do this. This almost reminds me, I'm getting a feeling of someone who's like as a metaphor, as a metaphor, someone who's like quitting drinking or something like that. And it's not just enough to want to quit that. You got to have a plan. You got to have a support system. You got to have an idea of how you're going to do that, or quitting smoking or something like that. So taking back your power, cutting the cords, soul retrieval, it's going to powerfully change your life. I think in a way that you did not expect. When you start taking care of yourself and doing things and quitting those things that aren't healthy for you and don't feel right to you. And your dreams and your practical plans. So make sure you're thinking through the practical ramifications of how you're going to do this, how you're going to go about sort of restarting something. That's what I see with this eclipse, and then the sun is sort of reborn. It's not like a natural cycle. It's like you have to bring it in. You have to come in with the plan. But when that sun, I traveled a bit to see an eclipse a couple years ago. It was an eclipse I'd looked forward to since I was a child, so I wasn't about to miss it. And it just is so powerful when that sun comes back, and the eclipse moment of all of that darkness. It was intense. It was powerful. And so something has eclipsed you, but it's creating like this powerful moment where it's like, yeah, no, I want to go back. And so it's just moving through, and that sun's going to come back out again, and you're going to be back on track. A little interruption to this beautiful life, but we're getting back on track. You're going to need a plan for getting back on track though. All right, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue? Your environment, your to-do list, your possible outcome. Okay, what did we get? Oh, okay, and overall for the reading, a little bonus card here is a Five of Cups, a loss here. grieving a loss, not quite ready to move on to all that you do have, all that the abundance that you do still have, but sort of experiencing some sort of loss or some sort of regret. In your recent past, you have Wheel of Fortune. So this is the inner workings of life or the outer workings of life, the part that we're not really in charge of. Like, we're in charge of ourselves. We're in charge of our self-discipline. We're in charge of our routines. If we have routines, we're engaged in routines. I'm not a routine person myself, but I understand that lots of people, I have self-discipline, just not routine. Lots of people really like routines or really get a lot out of them. I just feel completely insane and like I have imprisoned myself. But consistency, self-discipline, those things are separate. So anyway, but regardless of what you've been doing or not doing, practicing, working on, doing or not doing, something came in and the machinery of life was just doing its own thing. We're sort of getting a glimpse of the backstage of life. I feel like here's the curtains are pulled back. Here's all the pulleys, all the equipment back here. And it's stuff we don't understand. It's the machinery of life. It just moves and it does its own thing. So Wheel of Fortune to me has to do with luck, has to do with all a change of fortunes, just shifting changes. And, we prepare for bad luck. We prepare for good luck by being prepared. We prepare for bad luck by being prepared. But there's always these like moments where like, wait, what? I wasn't expecting that, or that's not what I thought I was working towards, or just something unexpected, something that's out of our control and is just part of the greater mechanism coming in here and switching things up for us. So if your fortunes were down, they maybe went up. You had a fortunate, but if you were doing pretty well, maybe, things have gone south for a bit. So it's just those twists and turns of fate, things outside of our control. There's so much we can control internally, attitude, the way we think about things, all of that stuff, the stories we tell about things, that kind of thing. But this was something going on in your life that was out of your control, luck changing, that whole mystery having an effect and a profound effect on your life. In your current situation, we have 6 of Cups. Here, this is remembering something, remembering better days, or returning to better days. This is some sort of joy, some sort of peace was back here, some sort of buoyant happiness. And you're either remembering that, wanting to revisit that, enjoying that memory, looking back on something. I don't see this card so much as something from the past coming back and returning to somebody or something or some situation that was back there, but looking maybe fondly, maybe taking a relook at some of the things that happened when you were a child, and some of that childlike buoyancy and joy and happiness, and remembering sort of how things used to be back in the good old days, right? When we maybe didn't know everything we know now, but back in the good old days. So there's some memories here, some really good memories, some pleasant memories, and maybe even a wish to revisit that time and that joy and that buoyancy. In your inner landscape or whatever is back there, there's something pleasant back there that you're looking at and remembering. And those memories are really important. For one, if a memory brings you joy, why not engage with it, right? That we find our happiness wherever we can. So why not engage with that memory? And two, these memories always remind us that going forward, this beautiful thing has happened before. It can happen again, maybe, and it's not going to be in the same circumstances. It's not going to be the exact same way, but we're capable of feeling these things. We're capable of experiencing these things. So there might be also an envy of innocence, wishing that you could be innocent or not know something anymore, not know what you know now, wishing that you didn't know everything, or that you hadn't found out certain things or learned about certain things. There can be a wistfulness to this card that can be sort of a, gosh, I regret growing up kind of feeling, like things were easier when I didn't know so much, I wasn't responsible for so much. So there's some sort of looking back at the past, at some sort of ease and grace and joy, in a time when you felt more buoyant. And those memories can, like is it Longfellow's daffodils or Wordsworth? One of those guys has the daffodils, you know, and he's sick on his bed and he's remembering these daffodils and they're bringing him so much joy. So yeah, there's a memory there of a happier time. And then we have this 5 of Wands here in your inner landscape, your hopes and fears. So you could be, this is conflict. So you could be having a lot of inner conflict about something, feeling very conflicted, not even sure what team you're on or who you're rooting for here. Or this could be feeling conflicted, or this could be worried about conflict, worried about starting a battle, worried about creating some kind of conflict, especially if you're thinking about soul retrieval. Oh my God, yes. You're dreaming about soul retrieval. How you used to be, the happier times, right? And this says soul retrieval. That's exactly what I'm seeing here, is this looking at that, wanting that. And then I'm also seeing call your power back, cut the cords. This is going to create conflict. Of course it is. Of course it's going to create conflict. So you might be very worried about the conflict, that sort of this return to something that brought you joy, return to some place that was great for you, or there's some sort of conflict. So it's either inner conflict or fear or worry about rocking the boat, creating some sort of outer conflict. This is a chess game. So it's like, it's not actual battle, but it is like a contest of wills, a contest of wits, something like that. And you may be worried about igniting something like that. And oh my gosh, if you call back your power, you're definitely going to have to deal with some blowback from that. That's the way that works, because people like, especially someone that is a string puller or likes the power that they have. Obviously, they're not going to be happy when you're like putting up good boundaries and refusing that. So you may be looking at that and thinking, oh gosh, if I put up better boundaries, I'm going to have to deal with some conflict. Yep. Powerless. This is, what's at issue here is the Emperor in reverse. This is a sense of powerlessness. Someone else might have the control, and maybe this could also be that you're dealing with someone in power. Hopefully it's not you, but dealing with someone in power who's manipulative, controlling. I mean, and then we're talking about cutting these cords. And soul retrieval. So could be someone who's been very, male or female, been very manipulative, controlling, needs to have control, needs to have the say. In the reverse like that, the Emperor is an asshole. He's got a lot of power and he likes to throw it around. He likes to throw his weight around. He likes to needle people, manipulate people, control things, very controlling individual. If that's not it, I mean, in another way of looking at that is you in a situation feeling like you don't have control, you don't have say. This is why we're talking about calling your power back, because you don't feel like you have any in this situation. You feel like you're powerless. You have no control. You have no say. No wonder you don't want to start a conflict. You don't even have a king. Like you're missing half your pieces, or that's how you feel. That's how the situation is set up, is that you don't have the full, you're not, you know, it's like trying to play chess with someone and you're missing half your pawns. Like, wait, you got to have these sacrifices you can make for your queen, right? You got to have, like, without those pawns, maybe they're not very important, but without them, you're going to lose, because they're the bait. They're what you throw out. You know, so it's like you might be feeling like you're playing you're doomed to play checkers with someone who's playing chess, and this Emperor in the reverse would be someone who is playing chess very methodically, very carefully, lots of steps in advance, and you may feel at quite a disadvantage and not really wanting to engage with this, not really wanting to play this game with them anymore. So you want to cut the cord, but cutting the cord with an Emperor like this, or with someone who is very controlling, or a situation in which you don't feel like you have the power, how do you call your power back from that? It's very complicated to cut the cords or to cut off, because that person has been manipulating you, or the situation, you are powerless in the situation, or you feel very powerless in the situation. So it's very difficult to call back your power when you don't have any. You got to have a little bit in order to pull the rest in, right? So it's a tricky situation. It's a tricky, it's a mind trick to get out of, and create some sort of logical issues too. Is like, how do you pull back your power if you don't have power to pull, to start the pulling, right? So that's, this Emperor is talking about a sense of lack of power, lack of control. And then we have in your environment, the Magician. Something's manifesting here. Something's coming to fruition, either for somebody else or for you. But something is happening. Something's on its way. This is the powerful change. It's going from pure intention to manifestation. That's the powerful change I see in this card here, is this Magician here. Oh my gosh. I just looked ahead. This is great. This is great. Okay, so either all the pieces are assembled for you to just pull them together and stitch them together and make something happen, or something is happening for somebody else. You've had maybe some good fortune. Maybe you see you're opening your opportunity to get out from underneath this person's thumb, or to empower yourself a little more. And so now is an opportunity to go for that. So something's being manifested. It could be part of this other storyline, or it could be its own little thing over there where, you know, in this part of your life, you're experiencing this, but someplace else, something's actually coming to fruition and coming into the 3D. A wish has been made and it is being granted. This, I was hoping I'd see this card. I don't know why I don't read ahead. I do know why, because I like to get absorbed by each card. But here's your to-do list. And it's not like a to-do list. It's like, you know, and you don't get any dessert unless you tick off all the boxes. This is like, look for opportunities. So this is your to-do list. I couldn't pick a better to-do list for this reading. With the Emperor in reverse, feeling powerless, it's in your head. A shitty mantra that you can't, and that's what I was thinking about when you don't have that power. It's a mind trick, right? That's what I said. This is the mind trick card. This is you have a shitty mantra going on in your mind that you need to figure out what it is about. I'm feeling powerless. I can't do this. You know, how do you call back your power if you don't have any power to even start calling, right? You got to have that little battery in your car before you can even turn it over and start it. So if you don't even have the battery and you don't have any gas, how do you get going, right? So you do have a battery. It is working. You're just telling yourself it's not. You're like not turning over the ignition all the way and saying like, I can't start this car. I can't call my power back. I can't do anything here. I'm trapped. But it's just like, you're not, you got to put your foot on the brake and turn the ignition key all the way, right? So the problem, the problem is like, you're feeling powerless. Here's what your to-do list is: to get a better mantra. See, she looks up, she's free. But she's not looking up. The power to look up is all in her head, is all literally in her head and her neck. To look up. See that there is an opening. There's an opening. You can go anywhere you want. You have way more freedom than you're giving yourself credit right now, right? So, and this is all probably due to shitty mantras, possibly embedded by, if this is a person, embedded by a manipulative person that you can't do anything, you're hopeless, you're helpless, you can't do this, right? But you can. So the first key, I just saw this really great thing of changing the mantra, but bit by bit. You're not changing it like from like, I can't do anything, to I am God and I master the universe. We don't need to go that fast. It's going to give us whiplash, and your body's going to reject that, and you're not going to be able to believe it and say that believably. So I can't, let's see, call back your power. I don't have any power. I don't have any power in the situation. I don't have any say. We can change that to, I have some say in the situation. Okay, you have some say in the situation. That seems very believable to me. Like, any say, no say, never, all of those words, get rid of those words. That's the first job of your mantra. The first job is noticing what the shitty mantra is that you have, right? And then the second job is noticing all of those, every, never, always, those words are not true. Rarely are they true. So it's not that you never have power. It's not that you don't have any power. So we can change those to some power. Sometimes, often it seems like just soften the idea that I never have any power and never have any say. Just soften that. I don't feel like I have any say. And then we can move to like, sometimes I do have say. I do have a lot of power. I have a lot of say. You know, this whole thing, we started with this Wheel of Fortune. about things outside of our control. Yeah, there are things outside of our control, but what can we control? We can control what's inside here. We can't control the gears of life, but we can control the gears in here. It's hard. It's a lot of fucking work, and it's very hard, and it takes very consistent effort and self-discipline to be able to do that. I think we started with some self-discipline here too. Fascinating. So yeah, it's effort, it's meditation, first to watch what your mind is, and then you can start working with where you're at right now today in a sense of powerlessness. So we are dealing with our shitty mantra. It was probably accidental, possibly handed down. There's no shame in it. We all have shitty mantras. So we're dealing with that. We're looking at that, ways that you have more freedom. The lack of freedom is only in here. It's these gears that need to get moving, and to need to see the power and call back your power. And then where are you going? Knight of Cups. Communicating from the heart, a beautiful, lovely communication. Maybe you feel like you can't communicate from the heart. Maybe you feel like you can't be honest about how you really feel. This is playing some heartstrings. This is Knights are about communication, about action. And then we have the Knight of Cups. This is about a heart. This is about a love offering. This is about maybe sharing and showing some love. You go from feeling trapped and powerless, but you deal with that shitty mantra, and then you end up being able to communicate something very heartfelt here. This is powerful change. Going from feeling trapped, shut down, immobilized, powerless, to feeling so empowered that you could just blossom out here in an expression, a true expression of your heart's desires and your love. I mean, that is a really powerful change here. And your dreams need a practical plan. So how are you going to get onto that lotus flower? This is taking this mud, this muck, and really this mud, this muck, taking it and blossoming it from it, and then being able to communicate straight from the heart. Some really beautiful, courageous communication. That is some very powerful stuff. But we have like a lot of grief, a lot of sadness, and a sense of powerlessness here, fear of creating conflict. But you need to call that power back, because you've got something to say, you've got something to do here, and so it's time to get out of your head. There's been a fortuitous turn of events, and I feel like you feel powerless maybe to embrace it. Something's happening. Something beautiful is happening in your life, and I don't feel like you're in the space to receive it. And you might feel powerless in the situation. It's like something wants to unfold in your life, but it's you not paying attention to it, right? This this angel has her back turned to this magical thing that's happening. Can't see it. Could turn around, could look at it, could fly free. The gate's open. But it is struggling with some thought processes, struggling with her thoughts and her beliefs in herself and her true freedom and true power. So you're calling your power back. This is all about inner power. Okay, we'll take this one. The creative power. Aha! Love it. Talking about power. The mind often wants to see and know exactly what is around the corner, but to manifest, we have to give up certainty and embrace the creative process. Choosing to live creatively will bring you more joy and success than any amount of certainty ever could. Beautiful. I love that for this reading. All right. I hope you have a great week, Leo. Thanks for watching.